Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're gonna talk about 4 heroes mid-draw counters. Before we start though, you might be confused as to why I'm talking about mid-draw specifically and not carry draw. The reason for this is that when you're playing mid, you usually have less pick, and that allows you to specifically counter the heroes that were picked before you. While Drow is an okay hero in this patch, she has a ton of counters herself, and her performance in the game is directly related to how good of a draw game she has. Meaning, even if someone first picks a hero that I'm talking about in this video, and you pick draw in the second phase, there is a chance you get hard counter in the third phase. And at the same time, I feel like mid-draw is just a more stable and better hero because she loses way less lanes mid than she loses when she's playing safe lane. Alright, so just to showcase, it's not only me that thinks mid-Drow Ranger is better than carry. If we check the carries that are playing Drow Ranger the most right here, Excalibur's playing mid, but IOTW, Gork, and Crystallize play her carry. So IOTW, he is 2-2, 50% win rate, but only 4 games, so that's very small sample size. Crystallize, 0-2, playing Drow Ranger. Gork is a god, so he's 3-0, but also only 3 games. And when we compare that to Excalibur, that he's 9-4, so that's a 66% win rate playing Drow. You can see that not only he's playing Drow in many more situations and cases, but he is getting away with a higher win rate. Alright, so let's start with the build, and it's fairly simple. Excalibur starts with multi-shot level 1 when he's against a hero that can deny the range creep very easily, but against weaker lanes, he can get the Q level 1. But overall, you max multi-shot first, you get a point of silence at level 8 or level 9, you always get the stats talent, and then you can max either the Q or the W. He always gets the multi-shot cooldown reduction as well as the multi-shot damage level 20, with the cooldown reduction at level 25. His item build is also pretty much the same every game. He gets 2 Wraith Bands followed by Treads. He gets drums when he can get away with it because it allows him to farm faster. The move speed and the mana regen are pretty clutch on Drow, but overall Dragonlance, Yasha, BKB is what he gets in 95% of all games he played. The first hero we're gonna talk about is Riki, and I know this might sound a little counterintuitive. After all, Drow hates gap closers, but as mid-Drow, you're rarely going to be the hero showing and being initiated. Even if you get initiated, like in this game, Drow here is fairly behind in farm, she is just mega tanky. She loses some agility when Riki and Ember gap closes, but that's still 23 armor and 1.7 KHP at 15 minutes. And, she is that tanky and strong because mid-Drow farms faster. In this other fight where Drow doesn't get jumped, watch how Ember and Riki get crushed. The fact that Riki is a high armor hero, but Drow doesn't care about that at all, also makes her really good versus him, and even with Mirana diving this hard, you can see how tanky and how much Radiant has to invest for the Drow kill at the end. Another aspect of mid-Drow that is underrated is her farming speed. Even though Excalibur in this game was having a really hard time being 2-4-4 at one point and 6k gold behind, this hero farms at an absurd rate, and while the game is even in gold and he died 5 times, he is by far the highest level hero in this game, and because this hero farms so fast, it's really easy for Drow to itemize against Riki or any other hero in particular. Once BKB is up, Riki cannot initiate on Drow anymore, and if he goes on nearby targets, then Drow melts him, because no one is close to her, deactivating marksmanship. Invoker is another hero that suffers a ton against physical damage, and even though he has a disarm, the new Drow Ranger offers damage even when that happens. And her silence is also a bummer for him to deal with, because while he can get U-Scepter or BKB, those are not items Invoker wants, they are items he can get. Now let's get to the laning stage. Exort Invoker versus Drow. You're probably thinking that Drow wouldn't do so well if Invoker was playing Quaswex rather than Exort, since you can kill the Forest Spirits easily as a Drow, and while I agree that Quaswex is stronger in lane, that doesn't mean Invoker has kill potential on her before an urn, and even with that item, because Invoker attacks outside of the 400 range that deactivates marksmanship, Drow's armor is high, meaning you have a ton of effective HP against right clicks. On top of that, Quaswex Invoker is used to diving and playing very aggressive and almost never getting punished because of his move speed, but with the early power spike of your Dragonlance, that changes completely. A lot of people forget about the fact that the range of multi-shot increases with your attack range. With that, it's really easy to control Invoker and honestly a ton of heroes without escapes. This game is really impressive because the Invoker, in those 2 times we saw the Tornado EMP combo, sent Excalibur to base after level 6, meaning he farmed much less than he would usually farm. But because Excalibur joins the fight after Invoker uses his kit mid, he demolishes Radiant, and it's really impressive how little farm Drow needs to do stuff like this. Researching for this video made me wow a lot of times watching clip after clip of a Drow Ranger surviving a fight with 15 HP. And while her strength gain is not that high, the fact that you get so many strength items and honestly the Dragon Lance makes her really tanky and able to take fights pretty much the entire game. Alright, so Quasar's Invoker doesn't lose the lane but cannot really kill Drow. What about Exort then? The thing about this matchup is watching out for Cold Snap before multi-shotting. This is obviously the case against Quasar's as well, but multi-shotting versus that hero in lane is extra hard because he has Tornado and Cold Snap to deal with it. But against Exort Invoker, it's not that hard to man up versus him. That's at least until level 5 when he gets the Sumiya combo. Usually, Exort Invokers only learn the second point of Quas at level 4, and so they suffer with HP regen problems, and very often, they can be low enough to die. Watch how Excalibur baits Cancel here. He tanks through the Cold Snap and only goes for his E after that. Cancel went for the only way out of this, which is getting as close as possible to Drow and trying to dodge the multi-shot, but Excalibur was patient, and from very early on you can see how deceptively tanky Drow is. Because in this matchup Drow is pressured less, the same thing happens. Drow can probably die if she gets hit by the Sumiya combo, but because she can push the wave from so far away with multi-shot, Invoker rarely has the chance to do so. And what happens is she's gonna get the necessary items, most often that is Dragon Lance, Yasha, BKB, and at that stage Invoker offers very little to kill Drow unless there is a Faceless Void or an Enigma in the team. This is one of the things that I love about Dota. Drow is clearly not one of the best heroes of the patch, but sometimes it just happens that a hero that was a little forgotten starts countering a lot of the stuff that is popular at the moment, and I think that's 100% the case for Drow. That said, she's not an S tier hero, and because of that, I'm going to give you guys for free the PDF file of Invoker that is an S tier hero, and in case you're just a little scared of when you should pick him, when you should not pick him, what people are building on him, I think this is a handy and easy way for you to improve your games. If you want access to the 25 PDF files I update weekly, wait for the ad at the end or check the link in the description. Lark is another hero similar to Riki. He gap closes but gets completely shut down by silence if you can time it properly. The crazy thing here is that because you're playing mid Drow and you have the levels, you don't have to get Hurricane Pike against him. In the early to mid game, or until he's level 13, he will usually have at best 3 points of pounds and surely will not have a BKB. Because the cast range of your silence and the range of multi-shot is so big, you can easily control him from afar, and in case he rushes a BKB, then he really isn't a threat at all, because that BKB will not stop your multi-shot, neither will his ult. All the new Drow needs is the ability to stand her ground and press E. While Hurricane Pike can be good in some specific games, against a Clockwork or build later into the game, Excalibur is having amazing results with this build. You can also notice that in all games we showed so far, his scores were melee heroes and not ranged, showing that this hero is indeed good by itself and doesn't need to be played with a Luna or a Weaver to be good. Obviously, it's amazing to have range cores, but you don't need them. I know at least one person is gonna ask, what about Shadowblade Bowie? Shadowblade is fine, guys. Maybe you can solo kill Dumbs, Larks, but this patch is all about fighting. Just get a BKB, get a MMR, and thank me later. Doom is another hero that Drow Ranger counters heavily. Whether he's in lane mid versus Drow or in the enemy team, the combination of multi-shot kiting and the silence makes it very hard for Doom to get on top of her until a Blink Dagger or Shadowblade. And while those items can be good, without drums and other stat items, Doom can feel really underwhelming, since he might just initiate and die. Heimdall players are not dumb, and so I actually could not find one game of a Doom going mid versus Drow, because usually they're gonna send the Doom to the off lane when they realize Drow is actually mid. What I do have here is a very similar boy to Doom. In this game, Thompson is playing Drow versus a Tiny. He kills that guy once, Eventually Doom rotates to help him and he kills both of them and the game ends at 8 minutes. And I mean, obviously safe lane Drow also counters off lane Doom. I just feel like mid Drow can be good very often, whereas safe lane Drow can get destroyed against a lot of lanes. So you can do it if you want, but please don't blame me if you lose MMR.
This guy plays so stupid, dude. Actually so stupid. That was a duel, by the way, but he doesn't want to press it. Now he's scared of pressing it.
Hey guys, do you feel like Arteezy playing Dota sometimes? Even pro players feel like that all the time, and the way they are able to win so many games, besides the fact that they're really good, is knowing when to pick every hero. Dota is an ever-changing game, and I'm here to help you with that. If you join my Meta Aficionado tier on Patreon, you will get a 20-minute video analysis of the patch weekly, as well as a 20-page PDF file that's gonna have the best heroes for every position. I'm also updating the list whether there's a patch going or whether the meta evolves naturally. This is a great way to get MMR because it will help you filtering the amount of heroes you have to pick. So not only are you going to learn those heroes faster, but you're going to be playing the best heroes available right now. Guys, once again, thank you a lot for liking, commenting, and subscribing. In case you want a more premium experience than my Meta Aficionado tier on Patreon, you can DM me on Twitter to get the rates for my coaching. If you want to watch exclusive content like this one, where I'm being coached by amazing players, you should definitely follow me on Twitch. If you got back to Dota because of COVID-19, or because of the Compendium, you should join our Discord channel. There's a lot of cool people there, and in case you're a little afraid of playing Dota by yourself, I'm sure you can find a good pub partner to make your games a little better. And finally, if you don't really care about the Meta Aficionado tier, but you still like the channel and you want to give back, maybe check the other tiers. I'm sure you're gonna find something that caters to you there. Guys, thank you a lot. This video was amazing to make, and hope you're having a good week. Bye.